This is Jeremiah chapter 49 and verse 10. But I have made Esau bare. I have uncovered his secret places, and he shall not be able to hide himself. His seed is spoiled, and his brethren and his neighbors, and he is not. And also I would like to grab Habakkuk chapter 2 and verse 16. Thou art filled with shame for glory. Drink thou also, and let thy foreskin be uncovered. The cup of Yahweh's right hand shall be turned unto thee, and shameful spewing shall be on thy glory. Call Haloyimla Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shai Bahasham Rahahakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, better known as GMS, who rule well. Peace and salutations unto the hopeful elect, the tabernacle of David, beginning with the 144,000 and the rest of the men, women, and children out of the 12 tribes, whom Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai will ultimately have mercy upon in these last days. I'm your brother Matazabath, residing from the branch of the Great Millstone here in Melbourne, Australia. And Abaratazah, this will be an edifying lesson. I'm just going to get straight to the point. All right. And here on my TikTok post videos that I go into for news and prophecy. All right. I just want you to listen to these two videos on the left hand side. We're going to start with the lady with the glasses first.
I guess I'm just not going to be done posting information. So the UK is reporting that the drones that are attacking their military's bases are not from Iran. And Dubai residents are reporting that the missiles that struck them weren't coming from Iran. Guess who's striking their allies? Israel. And Kim Jong-un said that he'd be happy to give Iran a nuke.
So this is Jeremiah 49 and 20 all day. The least of the flock is drawing them out, right? Let me play it one more time.
I guess I'm just not going to be done posting information. So the UK is reporting that the drones that are attacking their military's bases are not from Iran. And Dubai residents are reporting that the missiles that struck them weren't coming from Iran. Guess who's striking their allies? Israel. And Kim Jong-un said that he'd be happy to give Iran a nuke.
Yeah, because North Korea has now entered the chat. Okay. As that said, let's get that precept in Joel. This is Joel chapter 3 and verse 9. Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war. Wake up the mighty men. Let all the men of war draw near and let them come up. This is the time that we're in. All right. It's not a coincidence why they are creating false flags to say that Iran was the one that shot the drones and stuff so that they can have the allies to join in, because now that explains this.
The ominous buzz, and then a direct hit. Tehran taking warfare to America's diplomatic missions. A suspected Iranian drone exploding on the US consulate in Dubai. The impact hit the parking lot, fire spreading to the building, a strike which could well rattle the Trump administration.
But our embassies and our diplomatic facilities are under direct attack from a terroristic regime.
All personnel accounted for and on a mission to get out. 3 embassies now shut down, 14 countries put on red alert, the US scrambling to evacuate its citizens from across the region.
It'll be a variety of methods: charter flights, military flights and transports, expanded commercial opportunities, and in some cases land routes.
But Americans remain in harm's way. The biggest US airbase in the region, Al Udeid base in Qatar, hit with an Iranian ballistic missile as the US continues to return fire.
For the first time, U.S. Central Command's Drone Task Force launched countless one-way attack drones. These drones were originally an Iranian design. We took them back to America, made them better, and fired them right back at Iran.
More than 2,000 targets now destroyed in Operation Epic Fury. Unrelenting strikes, and tonight, lawmakers briefed on the mission, warning American troops could be deployed.
I am more fearful than ever after this briefing that we may be putting boots on the ground.
As the impact of war ripples around the globe, here at the White House, the US president has lashed out at European allies who aren't on board with America's operation in Iran.
And now Spain actually said that we can't use their bases, and that's all right. We could use their base if we want. We could just fly in and use it.
The US.
Hey, you see, that's that fucking proud, man. That Salakia, that's that pride. Proud as well, but that's that pride. Look at his face. Look at him. Through. Absolutely through. Let me take this back some.
Impact of war ripples around the globe. Here at the White House, the US president has lashed out at European allies who aren't on board with America's operation in Iran.
And now Spain actually said that we can't use their bases, and that's all right. We could use their base if we want. We could just fly in and use it.
The US president, while sitting side by side with the German chancellor, warning he will cut off trade with Spain before taking aim at the UK and Prime Minister Keir Starmer.
This is not Winston Churchill that we're dealing with.
A British warship now on the move to the region to protect its troops. France ordering its nuclear-powered aircraft carrier to the Mediterranean too, as the French president declared US strikes against Iran are illegal.
They're evil and they're bad. It's a bad seed, and somebody had to do it.
In Washington, D.C., Lauren Tamazi.
So as you can see, prophecy, okay, you can't beat prophecy, man. This is what sets us here at Great Millstone apart from any other camp that don't go into prophecy. This is what sets us through, because the apostles on down have been saying this time and time again, that this was going to happen according to the scriptures. Matter of fact, the scripture says in Isaiah 8:20, going back to the basics, to the law and to the testimony, if they speak not according to this word, it is because there is no light in them. Now, one thing I want to make clear, let's take this back to what
Winston Churchill,
the operation in Iran.
And now Spain
side with the German cut off trade with Spain before
that we're dealing with.
A British warship now on the move to the region to protect its troops. France ordering its nuclear-powered aircraft carrier to the Mediterranean too, as the French president declared US strikes against Iran are illegal.
See, and that's key, because you have that's why Spain got pissed off, because they like, look, we got to follow the UN charter. Right now, if we go to Google, let's see here. What does the UN charter say for a country to enter war? Okay, it says the UN charter generally prohibits the use of force, requiring members to settle disputes peacefully. Legal war is restricted to two exceptions: self-defense against an armed attack. Article 51. Ooh, wait a minute. Let me read that again, Akim. It says legal war is restricted to two exceptions: self-defense against an armed attack. That explains why they were using false flags, right, to hit bases like in Saudi Arabia and stuff. That explains why. Hold on, let's continue. It says, or authorization by the Security Council to maintain international peace and security, right? Key details: general prohibition. Members must refrain from the threat or use of force against the territorial integrity or political independence of any state. Self-defense. Nations have an inherent right to self-defense if an armed attack occurs until the Security Council takes necessary measures to maintain peace. That explains why, going back to the first video, when the lady said that America and Israel are attacking their own allies. And this is why Trump now is getting upset because they ain't getting involved with the bullshit. Why? Because this is Revelation 17 and 16 about to jump off. The beast shall hate the whore. This is beautiful. It says Security Council authorization. The Security Council may authorize military action to deal with threats to peace, breaches of peace, or acts of aggression. Peaceful settlement. Parties to a dispute must first seek solutions through negotiation, mediation, or other peaceful means. Yeah, that's why pretty much Spain, they pretty much told Trump, like, yo, you just can't come over here, use our bases, and then we just automatically get involved. No, we can't do that. We got to follow the UN Charter. That's basically what he said when you look up the video. All right. So this is beautiful. All right. I got one more for y'all, and then we're going to wrap up.
What happens when the Saudis complete the investigation and find out Israel is the one who attacked them, not Iran? Right. Let's assume that is the case. The Saudis, the way they see it is that America is abandoning them, shifting their air defense systems to protect Israel rather than Saudi Arabia. The Saudis are a regional power. They've got a lot of friends, including Pakistan, who they've got a defense pact with. Pakistanis have to defend them. On top of that, the Turks. On top of that, this would be an opening for China. They would seize it. Then it gets serious. So the Saudis, what I'm assuming they'd do, something, they don't have to engage the Israelis. They just have to put the fear of God into them. How do you do that? This is what I've been saying for a while. You don't even need one large airbase near Israel in Saudi Arabia. You wouldn't need that. All I would do is a number of far smaller air bases, even strips, even roads. JF-17 can take off from a road. Right? But you need to throw down some kit over there, near there, and be in a situation to be able to really hurt Israel. And you could do that. You could do it very quickly. Obviously, that's going to put the willies up a lot of people. Right, what if it was Iran? Then what? The Iranians are denying it at the moment, saying, why would we do that? We're only attacking the American bases there.
That's right.
Nothing else. Can't blame them. But at some point, I'm hoping, the Pakistanis do not want to engage the Iranians. Absolutely not. The whole point of this defense pact with them and the Saudis was any sort of non-Muslim comes in there, Pakistanis will come out swinging.
And why? Notice what he just said. Any sort of non-Muslims that come into there, Pakistanis, they're going to start swinging. Why? Because this leads us right to Second Esdras. Okay. Second Esdras 15. I'm going to start at verse 28. It says, behold, an horrible vision and the appearance thereof from the east, where the nations of the dragons of Arabia shall come out with many chariots. The chariots is not, in this context, it's not talking about UFOs. It's actually talking about the military. All right. And the dragons of the Arabia is going into many of the Arab nations. Now, the word Arab, when you go back to the Hebrew, Arab, it just means a mixture of people. OK, but what's going to bring this mixture of people together? OK, their Islamic faith. That's why he said any non-Muslim that comes in, the Pakistanis, they're going to be on guard, man. They're going to have Saudis back. Turkey's going to get involved because why? They're Islamic brethren in the faith. So this is about to play out in real time. It says, and the multitude of them shall be carried as the wind upon earth, that all they which hear them and fear them gonna tremble, right? Because when you really go into it, they're gonna unite in their power. That's why he says they're gonna pretty much back each other up. All right, in so many words. So the fear and dread of them is going to be upon their opposition. Verse 30 says, also the Carmanians raging, because now Iran, okay, you see how good this is getting? Because the Carmanians, when you look it up, it goes back to Kimlin, Iran. All right, if I pronounce that correctly. It says, and wrath shall go forth as the wild boars of the wood, and with great power shall they come and join battle with them. They together, they're going to unify. They're going to get in and this is during World War III. They're going to join battle and shall waste a portion of the land of Assyrians. All right. And this is code for America. Okay. Verse 31. And then shall the dragons have the upper hand, remembering their nature. Why? Because when you go back to Genesis, all right, and you deal with Abraham's son from Hagar, which was Ishmael, okay, which Ishmael is the progenitor of the Arab people today. Okay, and it said in Ishmael's birth that he will be a wild man. Okay, so basically when they get together and unify within World War III, they're going to remember their nature and they just going to haul ass, man. It's going to be boots to asses. They not going to give two shits about anyone. They just, like you see Iran doing right now. Iran is lighting Tel Aviv's ass up right now as we speak, giving the U.S. the business. See, Western media, they not telling you the real, story what's going on. But when you check these other news sources like Times of India, right, like We On News and stuff like that, they showing you what's really going on over there in the Levant region. Iran has set both America and Israel back because they didn't anticipate that Iran will come out with the sort of firepower that they're coming out with. This is beautiful. So let me read 31 again. And then shall the dragons have the upper hand, remembering their nature, and if they should turn themselves, conspiring together in great power to persecute them, right? Conspiring into great power, okay, to persecute them. So, the Arab nations, all right, they're going to come together in great power against those who are going to come against them during the war, right? And whichever nation that's going to try to come against the Arab nations are going to be discomforted. OK, why? Due to the power of the Arabs coming together. Hence why it says shall be troubled. Right. And, in the very next verse where it says these shall be troubled and keep silence through their power and shall flee. Right. Because once they unify and join together, it's all hands on deck, baby. All hands on deck, right? But let's get back to, let me take this back a few.
I'm hoping. The Pakistanis do not want to engage the Iranians. Absolutely not. The whole point of this defense pact with them and the Saudis was any sort of non-Muslim comes in there, Pakistanis will come out swinging, joined by others. Go nuclear if they have to. Nuclear holy war, no problem. What, you need 1 million people? Take 2 million. No problem, right? And the Chinese, because the Saudis have got the money and the clout to pull this kind of stuff off. But if it's against Iran, the optics, even inside of Saudi Arabia, wouldn't be good. My gut feeling is if it was Iran, Pakistan would come out and immediately try to de-escalate the situation.
Yep.
The Iranians, what they want is, I'm guessing, a few more weeks of smashing to the point where it gets unbearable for certain Gulf states and for Israel.
Because notice, Iran, they haven't, see, unlike the U.S. calling for help from their allies, Iran ain't even called for Russia to get involved. At least as far as I know, I have to go back and check. But as far as I know right now, unless a brother want to correct me on the comment board, Iran hasn't asked for Russia's help as far as what I know. I haven't seen that in the news so far, right?
And then everything de-escalates. That's what I'm assuming here. If it was Israel, the Saudis do find out it's Israel, I want to do something about this, they've got the power to do so. Let's see how it pans out.
And that's pretty much it. So let's get a few more precepts close out. All right, this is Jeremiah 51 and 7. It says, Babylon have been a golden cup in Yahweh's hand that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of her wine. Therefore, the nations are mad. OK, because all the shit that you've been talking under peace talks, under the Charter Act, under the international law and stuff, you go against the grain. So here it is. Now that your back is against the wall, OK, you don't want to follow the code of conduct, Salakia. You don't want to follow the code of conduct, OK, that you outlaw or help to put together. OK, and now the other nations, they're fighting back like, no, like prime example, both France and Spain. Spain said you going against what the UN Charter says. France says you pretty much are, what you just done to Iran was illegal. In the midst of fucking peace talks. What you was in the middle of a peace talk, and then he had the nerve doing the press conference at the Oval Office by stating what? Well, we thought that they were going to strike first, so we decided to get a few foot in before they struck us. When it already had came out that they were not a direct threat at all. It already came out Iran was not a direct threat. But we know who's in the back pocket of America. The mini hats. Least of the flock should draw them out. That's why Saudi, once again, they caught 2 Mossad agents. 2 of them. Look that up. So, man, this is beautiful. Revelation 17 and 16. And the 10 horns, which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. See, they're starting to wake up now. This is why both Britain and France are stationing their naval ships now. They're looking after their own people now. Right? That does it not say in Jeremiah? Let me go back there. Jeremiah 51. I think it's Jeremiah 50. Your mother should be, Jeremiah 15 and 12. It says your mother, talking about Babylon the Great, in conjunction with Britain, because America came out of Britain. It says your mother shall be sore confounded. She that bare you shall be ashamed. Okay. And it ain't talking about like, you know, the sort of, well, let's just go into the word so you can have a better understanding. All right.
Strong's H2659. Chafeir.
Right. It says to be ashamed, be confounded, be abashed, feel abashed, right? Or to display shame, demonstrate shame, cause embarrassment. Right. That's why Starmer 3 days ago, that's why he was hesitant to turn over the bases to allow for the U.S. and Israel to attack from. Because he was like, we already learned our lesson from the war with Iraq. We don't want the same scenario to play out. But check this out. In the Strong's, it says, figuratively, to be ashamed, disappointed. All right. Reproach, to be brought to confusion unto shame. Right. Because they're looking at it like, man, You really fucking up things for us right now. You're causing chaos within Europe because now we not have to worry about your fucking shenanigans, but we now we got Russia looking down our throats or looking down our backs, right? Because Russia's going to get involved. That's prophetic. That's prophesied to happen. But this is where we are. Right? This is where we are, man. Okay? Jeremiah 50:9, it says, "For lo, I will raise and cause to come up against Babylon and an assembly of great nations from the north country," starting with Russia. "And they shall set themselves in array against her. From thence she shall be taken. Their arrows shall be as of a mighty expert men. None shall return in vain." Why? Because Yahweh Bashim, our spirit, is going to be in those missiles. And they will hit their target pursuant to Joel, the 2nd chapter. Oh, yeah. So this man's kingdom is finished, man. It's done. It's a wrap. You can't turn back now. There's not going to be no peace talks after this for de-escalation. And why is that? We'll end it on this. Let's go to 1 Thessalonians 5:3. "For when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape." You're not going to escape the judgment, Esau. Okay? Like it says in the book of Isaiah, you did not consider the latter end. Okay? Does not the scripture say what a man soweth, that shall he also reap? Why you think Yahweh Shai said to John the Revelator when he wrote the Revelation down, "He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword." You done went across the whole 4 winds and you done robbed, grape, pillage. You done took over, merciless killings, everything. Devoured men's houses, man. And you think that you're going to get away? You think that you're not going to be judged? "He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword." Look at what you did with Iran in the middle of peace talks. That's why Iran said, "No, man, we ain't stopping. You gonna get this work." So with that, shalom.